directly engaged with the canon, not to overthrow it, but to extend it. Not to ignore it like the MLA does or the AWP does, but to extend it forward, which means it has to be pushed beyond the levels of normative comprehension. It has to push beyond it. And it seems we're willing to tolerate that with medicine, with the sciences, with chemistry, with computer science, but poetry sits back being this little touchy-feely scenario for people to do who feel well about themselves. It's outrageous. Poetry has got to catch up. And I think that we're beginning to do that. Andre has been doing that for a long time. We are continuing that tradition with the magazine, with the posts that we publish, moving from language poetry past uncreative writing and Kenneth Goldsmith to the new Ezra Pound, if you will. What will Ezra Pound look like today if he had at his disposal algorithmic technology and was writing the cantos? Well, folks, I have the audacity to actually believe that somehow a little bit of that is working within me. I challenged Shakespeare because it's impossible to sort of absorb the impact of someone that, as Harold Bloom said, invented the human, invented the anxiety, the pangs, the jealousy, the ironies, the language. I mean, he all but created 20,000 new words that have become our lingua franca. We don't even realize we're incorporating that kind of mentality into everything we do. So, 154 sonnets. A friend of mine from England who publishes a great magazine called Stride said, "This is a great book, but Shakespeare? Where?" So I will let you decide whether or not, except for the metrics and the prosody contained in the 14-line sonnet, if you can find any Shakespeare in there. It's there, but it's also sort of accompanied by the algorithm, which I think is not something to be scared of. It's not simply a DDoS virus destroying your internet access. It's our lingua franca. It's the Byzantium that Yeats used. It's what we have now. We will look back on this time and say, aha, they had algorithms as their infrastructure. Why not? It's a little ahead of our time, I grant you, but we're doing it because it has to be done, and it's with us every day. It would be like someone, Andre said to me, he's so sick of hearing the word Dada. He came back from Romania. And I understand, I am too. But it's interesting, the Dadaists took a doorknob and put it on a piece of wood. Irony, stupidity, charm. And it became a classical work of art like the Mona Lisa. Somehow they were making fun, but they believed it. Well, what if the internet and things like Facebook and social media and algorithms was, in fact, the new poetry, and we're sitting around writing confessional poems about our dogs? It's right there in front of us. Okay, I will stop preaching. I'm a desperately, as Andre said, I'm a rabbi who hasn't found his pulpit. Not exactly true. Somewhat true. I'm going to begin actually with a Judaic poem, Commandment 613. You might know that there are 613 commandments in the Jewish life. This odd morphology of regret is his killjoy. Black buried and data burnt in effigy, gorging in captivity, dethroned, seizing the obscured, misidentified apostrophe. Eddies derived, just like us, from an esthétique du mal, is a philandering anti, teary sentimentalist, airy romantic, dark-blooded, in rugged hallow and brain spin. He's also vacant as a shaken realist, thick-lidded with prophecies of a copycat mood killer listening to our filial resentment. His negation has always been lit by eccentricities and persona. It's never mere panic or nostalgia for a past of fake halcyon days. He's not driven by a pedagogical anima. He's, au fond, our savage severity and cop-out. Metron 6000. In the logoi of opposition, pick tragic anceps, like sub, tie, un, neg, has, seed, moor, par, des, crit, to displace the choked genre. Eddy did. The botched Eddy, belly-blooded usurper of mythopoetic zones, tagged zero-day flaws. Rename him Eddy Melee, but it's an empty threat. Nothing but a white room with a brown metal folding chair, no Jabbok River, just faucet water in a plastic cup. Not belly-blooded, the blood-brain barriers and feet have been crossed. The condemned stock? The age of the Messiah is a farce. The rank and file have lost their nerves, bloated with endgame. At least Eddy's here, Z-lined in the stalled sever, but still here as Henry Daemon, without bats, bored by aliases. Grand malpractice, defamation of character, vitriol, slander, and dealing in all things despoiled. Ma gird, ma frigate Burke, says Eddy, as a Drogon-decreted version of himself. He fears the vice versa of a lost tribe of gas. Demurs in baryonic dark matter as Hetty Hubble, the exceed of crusty halos. To Eddy's credit, active brain sporns of word spill course in their sap. What about prior to? Eddy imagines a heavy residue of curvy onion booty. How did cosmology become garbaged with the wild scent of soft porn? Spin fast forward to a galactic bulge threshing an apology. His nuptials were clusters. He affected the outcome. The topos is in the billions. Eddy rides the carousel at 2 p.m. on Thursday, redisposing the verdict of bang. Squared plus b squared equals c squared. In the penal colony of the wanky literati, the black hearse of iconostasis drips creamy wax on a virgin's thighs. Eddy redacts, to bout in put a fizz in gut spark a bleezy and take it for the Yad Dominim. The hooded revert to the laws of cosines. Achus and few belches later, and the kingdom of heaven appears in fumes of kryptonite. Eddy hums Les Sons de Funèbre, logs into LinkedIn as Pastor Sebastian Godulus to perfect the transubstantiation of angels and endorse a colleague. Time to brush the faux hawk, gnarled with dyed streaks. Time to stroke good news, hate with n-dimensional chance, proving the saved are saved and acting in intro douches. Eddy slips away, sandaled in sackcloth, like a rogue Kleineman. It's not an either or, it's a meld.